And all right, we are rolling. Welcome back to the weekly vlog number 7 here. I'm your host, Brian Zach, and thank you for joining me here. Lots to talk about and cover in this episode. I have gone from 0 to 100 in the course of about a week. And it's been great. It couldn't have come at a better time for me, just mentally. I've had the past 6 months or so pretty free and open, and been really choosy about a lot of the gigs that I was taking, and was basically just saying no to certain things, and wasn't really in the frame of mind to get out there and get in the trenches and just start working again, blue collar style, just taking kind of what comes. So I've turned a page and really starting to get back into that mindset again, and I'm enjoying it. So, where to begin? First thing is, I wanted to talk to you about, this whole camera thing. I've been experimenting with different cameras and different ways of recording myself, both from the visual perspective and from the audio perspective. Now, today I'm recording this video using my own personal iPhone. I just find that it looks the best. It's the only 4K video camera that I have. I have a really nice Nikon DSLR, but I soon found out that after 30 minutes of video, it automatically shuts off, and there's no way to turn that feature off. There's no way. So if I want to record these interview style long format videos that go longer than 30 minutes, some of which actually do, I can't use that camera. As well as it's not 4K, and this camera just looks better. The colors look better. It's easier to turn on and off, and to set the angle and everything. I don't like the fact that it's harder to get this video into my computer for editing. With the DSLR, I just take the memory stick out and stick it right into my Apple computer, and voila, there's the files. So it's a little harder in that respect, but I think there's a way to transfer the video from my phone into image capture, or through image capture and into the computer. So still working that out. And so the audio portion I'm recording into Logic using one of my nice ribbon microphones here in the studio. So that part is working out great and is quite easy to do. It's just then you have to line up the audio with the visual and make that all work. But I'm used to doing that all the time, so it's not too much of a pain in the neck, but it is one more step to completing these videos before I upload them. So I just wanted you to kind of know where that's at, and so sorry for previous episodes where the quality was a bit off, whether it was in the visual or in the audio. I think my last weekly vlog video was a bit grainy. I don't know what's stuck in my throat. A bit grainy. I don't have anything here to drink either. So, sorry about that. I promised to do better, and I'm trying to do better. So hopefully this one will come out better, and we'll figure out something. I'll either buy another 4K video camera, or just stick to this format with the iPhone for now. Anyway, in any case, I am home. Today was my first day off in about a week. I spent 5 days in Phoenix, Arizona, actually Gilbert, Arizona. If you want to find out what I was doing there, I mean, I'm going to talk about it a little bit here, but if you want sort of a like a daily kind of episodic account of what I was doing there in Gilbert, Arizona, suburb of Phoenix. I was playing you can watch the video. I'll post a link to it, or the series of videos actually. There's day one through 5, I believe. And so what it was a tribute show to Eric Clapton and the Rolling Stones and their music, and we sort of dressed up kind of in the fashion of those bands of the time. Let me be clear, there was no impersonation going on. Well, there sort of was. I guess with the Mick Jagger, he was impersonating Mick Jagger, Drew Johnson from Las Vegas, sort of was embodying Mick Jagger. But for the most part, the rest of us were just band members and guitarists and drummers and bassists and stuff that were just playing the music of with a vibe and a look of the 60s. And the second set was a little bit, we did a costume change and it was a little bit more modern. So that was a lot of fun. Lots of great photos I got from that, and that were actually professionally taken. I don't know the photographer's name, unfortunately, to give him credit, but I can find out. Yeah, so, and also took some video with my Zoom camera, which sort of didn't come out as well as I thought it would, because I foolishly had the camera set on like a jazz club setting. So there in the theater, the bright lights really kind of overexposed the camera at various times. But there's portions of it that are usable, and portions of it that are just like, what is happening? It looks like a white mess. But yeah, so that part was a little bit unfortunate, but the sound came out good, and you can hear the band quite well, with some compression added and just leveling up of the volume and some gain staging, which is fine, because as long as it didn't distort, I can always upgrade the audio. So anyway, so some things that I sort of will take away from the performance there at the Hale Theater in Gilbert, Arizona. First of all, you'll probably notice from the pictures and video that the theater is in the round. So we're in the center of the room, of the performance space, and there's seats all around, sort of like at a boxing match, if you will, or a wrestling match, although none of us were boxing or wrestling. So it was my first time performing in a room like that. I mean, normally, you're on stage and the audience is in one direction, and normally as a drummer, you're sort of in the back, sometimes even in the dark, and sort of hidden away behind the drum kit in front of you. And there's a lot of like stuff that can happen backstage or like in the back of the stage that nobody really knows what's going on. Like you can just kind of throw things or cuss or keep your water bottle over here and no one's going to see it. That stuff like that. That is not the case here, because all around you there's an audience, and so they're looking at you from all angles, front, side, both sides, and back. And as well, the drum set riser that I was on, which was right in the middle, by the way, all the way up high, also rotated. So in between songs, one of the crew guys would come out and rotate the drum set 180 degrees or 270 degrees or whatever it was. All I can remember is just like spinning. I was that close to feeling what Neil Peart felt like in his spinning drum set, although mine wasn't, automated like his was. And I didn't have an electronic kit to play in the back. But besides that, I did feel like Neil Peart a little bit there. And it was just a lot of fun. Just because, your whole kind of perspective, one song you're facing one group of audience, and then, or you look this way and they're over there, and then the next song you're kind of this way and you're looking at that group of audience head on. And so what that did was that it also sort of posed a few challenges in what I was doing, because, you kind of, as a drummer, you kind of have to manage the band. In other words, you're kind of cueing and looking for cues that the other band members are giving you to cue the next section of the song, or the arrangement, parts of the arrangement in the song. And so, whoa, hey, nobody's reading the sign.
I know, but
okay, good night. Okay.
Good night.
I'll catch up with you later.
Love you.
Okay, love you too. So I have my wife bought me this sign to put on the door that says, "Do not disturb, recording in progress." And my son evidently doesn't know how to read the sign that I put on there. I knew that he would come up here during this video, and I was hoping that the sign would deter him. He was just saying goodnight, and that's sweet of him, but this is the only time that I get to do these videos, typically late at night when nobody bothers me and the phone isn't ringing, and I don't have to do some errand or mow the lawn, or take out the trash, or all the things in life. and that's fine and all, but it's just gotten to the point where I can't focus anymore. I can't get 15 minutes of focus time in here without somebody coming up here to disturb me. And I've kind of had to put my foot down a little bit on this. And so this is a huge derailment for the video, but really, real talk here, real truthful stuff going on. Here's one of the real struggles of working from home, is that when everyone else is home with you, everyone else just thinks it's okay to just come into your world and disturb you, and whatever it is you got going on, I need to talk to you, or I need this, or hey, I'm going to the grocery store, do you need anything? And it's I'm in the middle of something here. And to be fair, when my wife is working from home, which she does 4 days a week, and she's on a conference call on her computer, I don't go up to her and say, hey, I'm going to go and, have some coffee with a friend, or I'm going to, go for a workout, or, I recognize that, she's busy, and, maybe I'll just send her a text real quick, or, let her know what's going on, or maybe just not tell her at all and just, call her later and let her know. Just stuff like that. It's really challenging to be working from home. Maybe you guys deal with this too. Do you guys deal with this out there in internet land? Please comment below and let me know. Is there a way that you can that you have found that that you've gotten around this so that you're not constantly being disturbed? I've found that it's really taking its toll on not only my sort of mental and artistic frame of mind and just focus, my ability to focus, but also it's just taking its toll on my output sometimes. I'm trying to do a video, and I'll try doing a video for Patreon, or doing a drum lesson video, or doing a live lesson on camera, and it just takes you out of your train of thought, and it will literally take me 20 minutes to get back into it. And it's all because like somebody opens the door, and so wow. Sorry for that little extended rant there. It wasn't a rant. It's just stuff that you deal with when you work from home and you have a family or people that you live with under the same roof. And so we tried with this sign, and obviously I'm going to have to lock the door next time too, because I do have a lock on that door. I feel bad having to lock the door on my own family, when I want to make a video. So yeah, real talk here. Hopefully, I know he understands. I know, and I'll talk to him later about it if he doesn't. But he's 11 years old. You got to give him a break. So anyway, I was just talking to my son. That's what that was. So managing the band. Somebody at the end of one of our shows, we got to meet a lot of the people that were in the audience, and somebody came up to me at the end of the show, and he said that, great show. Everybody was, we had wonderful feedback from the audiences. But this person, he came up to me and he said, I was watching you. I was watching how you manage the band, I think is how he put it. You're keeping track of everything, and you're giving cues, and you're giving you're sort of telegraphing the next section of the song. I like to use that word, telegraphing, because you're communicating to the band through eye contact. Oftentimes it's through eye contact, but sometimes not. Sometimes it's through something that you play that determines, okay, here we go. I mean, probably the best example I could give is if you're playing a groove for a while, and maybe there's a guitar solo, and you're trying to cue it back into the chorus or back into the next section of the song, whatever it could be, or maybe the end of the song. And the best thing you can do to cue that would be to just play like machine gun snare drum fill. I mean, that's the biggest fill you could possibly do. It's the most like, biggest sounding, intrusively, here we go, everyone. Let's, follow me, and so that was a really cool compliment from that audience member, that he was watching me do that, and he was able to watch me do that from all angles, and he could see that, like, I'd be playing, and again, the theater is in the round, so the stage is in the round, so I'm in the middle, which means that there are people performing behind me who are looking out that way, and so somehow I need to get their attention, or look and sort of make eye contact with them, or somehow connect with them in some way to say, hey, we need to move to this next section together. Now, keep in mind, there's no charts in this music, so we're making it up as we go. And so it was really difficult, especially the first, like in the rehearsals, and maybe the first show or two, where it was like, by the end of the run, we did 5 shows total. By the 5th show, probably by the 3rd, 4th, and 5th show, especially the 4th and 5th show, we really had a much better idea of what was going to happen when, and how that person is going to telegraph or communicate the next change. And I think we were all learning each other's playing, and learning to trust each other, and I'm sure they felt the same way about me. They were learning my style of cueing, and learning, through listening and repetition, you learn, oh, when he does this, we're going to go to this other thing and do this other thing. So it's a lot of that kind of thing. And so it was a really cool experience in just learning that, like, how to communicate this stuff with a band that's all around you, and everyone's, I mean, you can look you put your head on a swivel, and you've got band members everywhere around you who are all looking different ways and in their own world, and they're holding up guitars and doing solos and shredding and got their eyes closed maybe, or like, posing with their foot up on the monitor, stuff like this. I mean, it was, just putting on a show as you do. So it was really, really, really cool. That was a great, great compliment. The showroom itself was pretty small. I think they said 360 seats or so, give or take. So it really demanded a drummer that could play with dynamics and emphasizes those dynamics, because, if I just played loud all the way through, everyone would just be like holding their ears, and it just wouldn't have the same amount of impact. There needs to be, quiet parts in the show, which there were, of course, just designed through the set list alone, but also contained within the songs that are louder. There needs to be, there needs to come down in the verses, and various other sections of the song. So I was really focused on trying to emphasize that lower end of the dynamic scale and really make the loud moments count more. So something that helped me achieve that was the choice of gear that I had. Now, the kit I used was a Sonar AQ2, which is a maple shell kit. It's owned by my friend Ben Hale, who was in the show, who actually put the show together. I guess he'd call him the show producer, but he also sang in the show and basically put this whole thing together. He called me and hired me. So it's his drum kit. It was a 20-inch kick, probably 20 by 16, I think, 12-inch rack tom, 14-inch floor tom, and standard snare drum, 14 by 5 wood shell. We used the same snare that goes with the whole kit, so it matched. And I did have a choice. He has a CNC drum kit as well, which has a little bit bigger sizes, but this Sonar kit was the perfect size for this show and this showroom. With the snare, I would have preferred probably a Ludwig Superphonic, like a 5-inch Superphonic, which would have been perfect. Which I do own one of those, but I didn't want to bring anything more than I needed to. In fact, I didn't even bring any cymbals. Once Ben told me what cymbals he had, I decided against bringing my own cymbals, because I'm just so tired of schlepping gear through airports and baggage claims and whatnot. And the cymbals that he owns are they're Zildjians. The two crashes, let's see. Left side crash was a 20-inch K Carope, if I'm saying that right. Right side crash was a 21-inch K Carope. We put a rivet thing on there, a chain, And the ride cymbal, the main ride cymbal, was a 22-inch Avidus, one of the new ones, one of the remakes, which I loved that cymbal. That was a nice cymbal. And then the hats were also 14-inch Zildjian Caropes, real thin and buttery. All the cymbals were dark, buttery, soft, thin. In fact, those crashes, it felt like, I didn't test this out, but it felt like no matter if I wanted to play them louder, they'll only get a certain loudness. Those cymbals won't go above a certain dynamic, even though you hit them harder and harder. It won't matter, because those cymbals will only get so loud. I think they're just sort of the way that they're shaped with the bell and their profile. They have a pretty flat profile, and they're just dark. And the Avidus has a nice wobble to it. It's got some more upper highs and mids to it that the Caropes don't have. So it's a little bit maybe louder, with the high frequency, and it has a really nice bell. But they were perfect for not only the show, but for that space that we were in. So I didn't overpower anything or anybody. So I was glad to have those. Now, I was a little bit like, I endorse Istanbul Agop cymbals, and I had to swallow my pride a little bit because I still prefer those. I love Istanbul Agops. They are by far my favorite cymbal in the world, cymbal company. And I would have used those in a heartbeat. It's just that's just the back line, and that's what we had to work with, and I made the best of it. And hopefully, they're not upset at that. Maybe I'll send them an email and just say, hey, if you see any photos of me playing these, just know that it was a house kit. It was sort of, it wasn't a rental situation, but it was just part of the show. And if I was going to start doing this show over and over again, like on the road and traveling, which is very much a possibility because we're intending on that, then I would want to bring my own cymbals out. That would be a thing for sure. So, any case, the drums also, I went out and I bought single ply heads for all the drums because they just needed to be replaced. They were the cheap Chinese stock heads, so I went out and bought some single ply heads coated to fit the bill, that's the sound, the 60s, sound of Rolling Stones and Cream and various members from Traffic, and that was just the show that we were playing. So that was the sound. I will say this. I really enjoyed playing this music. We got to play this music at a very, very high level. Everyone going into great detail into getting into these songs and digging into them and figuring out what is the true essence of these songs and playing them with the right attitude. We weren't necessarily playing transcriptions of the song because that's not what this was about. This is about getting into the vibe of the song, getting the feeling and portraying that to the audience. And so what I want to do and what I plan on doing, look for a video from me in the next month or so, hopefully. I'm going to break down the drumming styles that were contained within this show. Primarily speaking of Charlie Watts from the Rolling Stones, the songs Give Me Shelter, Satisfaction, and Start Me Up are some songs that I want to touch upon within this video and just talk about the feels and the different details that go into what makes these songs feel the way they do and how Charlie sort of played these songs and his approach, as well as two of the songs from Cream, Sunshine of Your Love and White Room, which of course was Ginger Baker on drums. And two very different approaches there. Charlie Watts, Ginger Baker couldn't be further apart, honestly. Technically speaking and otherwise, artistically. But, these are the two drummers that I was sort of portraying, at least from a drumming perspective. And it was a lot of fun to play this stuff and play it correctly, correctly. And so look for a video that will touch upon these songs and these styles and how I went about making this music feel authentic. Okay. I will. And so, again, I mentioned that I recorded the show on my camera and I listened back to parts of it, not the whole thing, but a good portion of it. And just kind of a takeaway and I should have trusted my instincts on this because I brought my click station and I had clocked everything out tempo wise so that we would start everything off at the right tempo. And then the idea is that I would turn off the click within maybe the first verse somewhere. And so we wouldn't be playing to click. However, what I found to happen was, this started to happen progressively more and more as the shows went on, is that I would click it off at the desired tempo, at the marked tempo that I had, let's say it was at 108. And if it wasn't a song that we were all in on, let's say if the guitar started the song, and I'm not going to say who, but one of the, if there's a guitar player that starts the song, I would count it off at 108, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the guitar player would immediately start playing the song faster, quite a bit faster than the tempo that I counted off at. And after a few times of that happening, I sort of gave up and just turned off the click and just kind of went with it and just went live with it. Now, where am I going with this? Now, when I watch the video and I hear these tempos, they're fast. They're faster than I want them to be. They're faster than I wanted them to be. And I should have trusted my own instincts in the moment. And I should have kind of laid down the law a little bit more to make those tempos sit where I want them to sit and where I think they need to be. Because, yeah, it's fun to play fast and you're in front of an audience and you got your heart going and your endorphins and your adrenaline is running, and it's like faster, 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 better, better, faster, more, louder. But like, no, because some of these songs just sit so much better in a certain place. And if anything, you want to be laying back on some of these songs. So I was a little bit disappointed in myself, and it's just, I have to re-emphasize to myself once again and again, lay back, pull it back, pull everyone back when you feel them creeping up the tempos. You gotta pull them back. It's part of being a drummer. It's just part of what we do, and it's just sometimes you gotta lay down the law. So hopefully you don't have to say anything like in between shows or whatever, but sometimes you really do. Sometimes you're just gonna have to address it with words and just be like, hey, that song is kind of pushing the moment I count it off, and let's try to all do our best to lay back on it, because it's off to the races. And once that happens, it just doesn't feel good anymore, especially rock and roll. Rock and roll has to have there has to be a rock and a roll. It has to kind of like, there has to be like a push-pull kind of thing. And it doesn't have to be super metronomic. It doesn't have to feel robotic. And I don't want that. It can speed up in the choruses, but in the verses, maybe I want it to lay back a little more, or vice versa. Especially with some of these Rolling Stones songs, some of them, it's almost like the verses need to be faster than the choruses. It's odd. But that's what makes that band so awesome in their writing and their recordings. So it's just little things like that. But that's also why I didn't want to run the click all the way through the song, was that I wanted it to feel live. I wanted it to feel organic, because that's what this music was. It was organic. Nobody played to a click in 1969. Come on. You think Cream, Ginger Baker, played to a click track? Give me a break. He doesn't even know what a click track is. And neither did Charlie Watts, by the way. So, I mean, if you don't believe me, listen to Brown Sugar, is it? Sorry. No, Honky Tonk Woman. My gosh, I couldn't remember the title of the song. If you don't believe me, listen to Honky Tonk Woman and tell me that that's not recorded to a click. Or tell me it is recorded to a click, I should say. It ain't. All right, so moving along, let's see. So we finished those 5 shows. I flew back to Nashville. Great flight, no drama. Got all my luggage, super good. By the way, the Nashville airport is just a freaking mess. It's just like the traffic. Oh my gosh, get it together, Nashville. Well, it's construction, but like I don't know, like they're really goofing it up over there. It's just like gridlock city. In any case, made it home. The next day, I had to get up early and drive myself to Ashland, Kentucky, where I was playing with some friends of mine. Michael Moore on vocals. He was the one who hired me. And great singer. And two of the guys from the Tracy Lawrence Band, Travis Newman and Kevin Vonderhoffen, and on bass. Travis Newman plays guitar. So the four of us played at this outdoor venue. It was a sort of an indoor-outdoor venue, but we were playing outside in the back. There's a nice outdoor stage there. Ashland is Michael Moore's hometown, so he had all his family and people, friends of his, that were in the audience and there for the night. And it was just a lot of fun, and just sort of a one-off gig. But it was a long drive to Ashland. It's almost to West Virginia, so it was like 5 hours and change, I want to say. Maybe 5.5 hours, something like that. And of course, you cross the time zone. So going there, I lost an hour. So I really had to get up early and just get on the road as early as I could. And just I wanted to take my time, which I did. Got there early enough to have some food, and Michael's family was nice enough to buy me dinner, so that was nice of them. And then played the show. And then I had booked a hotel room the moment I booked this gig, which was probably a month ago, 2 months ago, just knowing that the drive was too long to make coming home after the show, because we finished at like 10:30 p.m. By the time I packed up, it was 11:30. I'm not about to drive 5.5 hours home in the middle of the night after, a 3.5 hour gig. So, especially not after driving there already previous in that day. So the gig paid well enough that I just took the money out of my check and booked a hotel room. My wife gets some discounts at the Marriott's, so that helped, which was great because I played the show, packed up, and just got back to the hotel, crashed for a few hours, didn't get much sleep, kept waking up during the middle of the night, kind of waking up and wondering where I was and stuff like that. In any case, got a quick breakfast and got back on the road about 8 a.m. and made the trip back and was home before noon, which was awesome with the time change, because now it was in my favor, so I had an extra hour going back to Central Time. So yeah, it was great. Great show. 2 easy sets of country and rock music. And it was just a great sort of way to get reacquainted with some of these songs that I hadn't played in so long, because I haven't done a gig of this nature in so long. Just cover band stuff, and it just it was a good night. It was good for me, both for my chops, for my head, and to be playing with such great musicians around me, Travis and Kevin especially. I just, we have a track record from being on the road with Tracy Lawrence, and those are my brothers, those are my guys, and I love them. And it was just a great, fun evening of music, good music. So yeah, got home, and then let's see. Yesterday, I started to play with a new band. There's a new band in town, and it's a cover band. We're playing downtown, and the band is called Stacy's Moms, and it's run by fronted, I should say, by two female singers who are both excellent friends of mine, Dinsey and Bailey Barkley, who feels funny to say that because she just got married to my friend Jay Barkley, and she changed her name. So yeah, her last name, that is. She took Jay's last name. So it's funny. It's the first time I've ever said Bailey Barkley out loud. But in any case, congratulations to her and Jay and their marriage. I was at their wedding and performed, and it was awesome. But yeah, so Dinsey, who she goes by Dinsey, her real name is Kristen Dinsmore, and Bailey are just awesome as front women. They have a great banter with the audience on the mic. Of course, they sing their butts off. I mean, that's a given. I have a great track record with both of them. We've all worked with the 12 South band, wedding band here in town, and so that's how we all know each other. And they're just doing a lot of rock music, a lot of pop music, dance music, some country as well. Look, they're just friends. We're all friends. We have a trust. We have a track record together. As I said, we just kind of know each other. We know each other's personalities, and we have some history together, and that's really cool. I also think that we have the same goals for this band, and that is to make money, number one, to play great music with great people, with a very positive environment, with no drama, and not to abuse ourselves or our families or our bodies in any way. So in other words, none of us really want to play the 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. slot down on Broadway because we have families, and most of us do. I know myself, Bailey, Colin Poulton on guitar, and Dinsey. I don't think she has kids or a husband or anything, but she's got a steady job, that gets her up early in the morning. So we all need to be sort of up and operating in the morning at some level, and none of us want to be up all night playing some club somewhere to a mostly empty room, because that's usually what that kind of ends up being. Or it's either that or just playing to a insanely packed drunken room where it takes 90 minutes to get out of there after you finished at 2 a.m. So you get home at 3:30, 4 a.m. and it's just your whole day the next day is shot. So none of us are kind of into doing that anymore. Maybe we're all just getting older. I don't know. But I'd like to think that we're all getting smarter. Work smarter, not harder, right? Yeah. So we did our first gig. It was at the Tin Roof on Broadway. It was awesome. I have a video that will be coming out soon of us playing one of the songs that we played. A lot of fun. And I hope to do a lot more with them, with that band. So a lot of stuff, in the works for that. We have some goals to take on. So it's gonna be a good working situation. It's gonna be a good summer, I think. So I'll leave you with this. I am leaving in a couple days to go on vacation with my family. I will be gone for over a week. I'm not going to say where I'm going. I'm not going to say exactly when, but just know that I'm going to be on vacation. And so I'm probably going to skip a week for this weekly vlog. Unless, the inspiration hits me while I'm out, on the beach with a margarita in my hand. It could happen. Stranger things have happened. And maybe I have really, really good internet connection. I don't know how that's going to play out. But if possible, I will upload a new video. But if I'm not feeling it, or if I'm just sort of want to enjoy the moment with the family on the beach or wherever we're going, or if the internet just absolutely stinks, then I'll just wait until I come back for the next weekly vlog after this one. But know that stick around on my channel, because I have at least one video that is scheduled to upload later this week. So look out for that. But yeah, that's it. I'm going to leave you with that. Yeah, geez, don't forget to like and subscribe, the whole thing, leave me a comment. If you like these videos, let me know. I like to hear from you. I really, really do. I've been starting to get some more comments on some of my videos, and that's really cool. I will do my best to respond to those as soon as possible. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you stopping in. I appreciate you watching, and especially getting this far, 45 minutes in. But yeah, that's kind of what this is. It's meant to be a long format. So hang in there. Thanks for hanging in there with me. And it's going to be a great summer full of lots of cool stuff. So as I said, stick around for that video where I show you some drumming stuff by Charlie Watts and Ginger Baker, and lots more coming your way. So thank you again. See you on the next one.